Akademiks can't ride no wave.
18, and some of them actually about like 42 months. They got no fire. There's nothing there. There's not even smoke. Somebody got to tell them the wood is damp, dummy. You got to, come on. Learn a little bit of physics. But it's all good. There's a couple cavemen who they are antiquated. They're aged out. They don't adjust. This is their first time at trying to create fire. And I'm going to give you guys the opportunity. So I'm not stuck in a pickle because I think I'm in a great position. I feel like I've dropped 60 for less. I feel like I've just dropped 60 for less, chat. But I've never been one to help my enemies eat. I've never been one to do that. Okay? I want my ops, my enemies, I want them broke, destitute, homeless, looking ugly, scruffy. I want their baby mamas to put them on child support. I want them to be back and forth to jail. I want them to be getting tossed around like basically trash. And I'm learning that the position I'm in now, potentially, I'll be the fire that these niggas need. So what do we do? Because I want to drop 60, but I think a back and forth might help these niggas. So anyway, I just want to give you the context of how I'm going to the stream. You know, I got the Don Julio loaded up right next to me. I'm going to have a good time. There's a bunch of shit to talk about. But there's a few fledgling media personalities. It's not one. It's actually a bunch of them. They're hoping for the back and forth. Now, here's the thing. I worked tirelessly to get to where I'm at. 15 years. You guys see me here. I've put all the work in. I sat, I cried, I laughed, I fell asleep on whatever it is. You guys see me on my highest and lowest. One thing y'all know about Ak, he not stupid. I ain't did all this work to give it away to a bum who basically don't want to put the work in. So I'll tell you where we are with it today. I could just launch up and I'll drop 60. Pretty easy. These are easy. These are easy competitors. Or we could just starve them out. Now you heard what King Von said. We don't squash beef. So there will come a time, but on my time, that this picks back up. But when y'all trying to get an active back and forth, I'm seeing y'all numbers start to spike. I'm like, hold on now. Yo, I hate to use my man Dirk as the example, but remember when 6ix9ine said, yo, I tricked Dirk out of his position? That's kind of, y'all ain't gonna trick me out of my shit. The fuck? So that's what we are at, chat. We're doing lovely. We've built an amazing audience, and I'm not gonna lie to y'all, chat. When I was sent a few things that, I was gonna react to a few things, I realized, even though it's the best thing I like doing, I love going back and forth. I looked in the comments. It's like 85%. Everybody's like, yo, congratulations. Ak has made us known that you even do this. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like giving these guys. I look in the comment section. Basically, everyone's saying it's not even worth a response. But I love the back and forth. And you guys know, I'm just one of those gladiators. For people who do say, why do I mention people or whatever the case is, I grew up on New York radio. I remember when Star was there. I remember early Charlemagne. I remember the radio wars. I do think that there is a little bit always of conflict or competition, right? I compete with people like Adam or say Wack or Vlad. I compete with Joe. Now, we don't get nasty and be like, yo, fuck you, nigga. But, when I want to have better takes than Joe. I want people to be more excited about things I'm doing. And it's probably vice versa. So I love the competition. But, yeah. So I'll just give you that context. You guys can sit on it for a little bit. Pause. You guys are the boss. I've always subjected myself to the, you know, you ever watch a Gladiator? Except that Emperor was a little crooked. I'll tell you who I am. I'm like the guy who was like, I'll give the people what they want when necessary, because sometimes the people lead you wrong, because they might just be bloodthirsty. But this is one of those things. We could starve them out. We could drop a light 60 on them. There's pros and cons everywhere. You drop 60 on them tonight, these motherfuckers is bragging about how their views went up 200% for the next 2 weeks. They think they're in a back and forth. You ignore them, they might think you're ducking, and we ain't ducking shit. So it's all good. I'll rather than, this is as close I'll get to it for now, but remember, we got a stream to do. You guys could convince me if we should get back there. I see Adam tag me some shit, and I don't have to be avoidant. Essentially, I called out the bums who were who HOT97 has hired. They hired some bums before, and I think this was the most ridiculous. And I call a spade. As much as I don't like Ebro and Rosendweeb, like, they fired them and hired a worse replacement. Like, I've never seen such a... Yo, you ever seen somebody bad at their job and they lose their job and they get somebody even worse? Like, brother, is this some DEI shit? What's going on? So anyway, I call a spade, Chad. I'm only here to call a spade. And I could have just stuck with just kicking Ebro and then backing, but when I seen this shit, I was like, this is down bad. Anyway, rather than even acknowledge this person, because I could tell, everybody, I looked through the comments and like, yo, this is your most views or whatever. I'll let Adam do the story, okay? Adam, you'll give the commentary of what's going on, and I'll just play that, and I'm going to move on. But if the chat wants, remember, we're here. If the chat wants, if we got to load up the clip, it is what it is. But just let you know, if we load up the clip, we're breathing life into corpses. We're keeping them on life support. We could cut it here, and y'all know how I rock. You know what I'm beefing with rappers? I don't care what a rapper says to me the week their album comes out. I'm waiting till you flop, then I'm the loudest nigga there. I ain't squash shit. But right now, all these niggas need some metrics. And that's what I'm saying. We could just, you know what? Let me just give it some time. Because I've heard about some changes about to be made some places. But you guys are the boss. Anyway, shout out to Adam. What he said. Check this out. Okay. Please listen to this. I don't even want to play that shit.
A lot of you guys have seen this clip of Mero talking about Akademiks. And this was supposed to be like some kind of ether. I see people on Twitter talking like this was just him dropping a bomb on Ak. I'm sorry. This shit sucked. Like, I could try to sort of summarize the points he was making. Basically, you call Ak fat and an alcoholic. Okay, whatever. He says that Ak lives in his mom's basement. We all know that he's lived in a house that he owns for many, many years now. He says that Ak, like, basically only gets by off commenting on the culture. He doesn't create anything. Like, is this serious? Like, you're on the radio. Like, your big thing is that you guys are on the radio. You play music and you talk about what's in the news, right? Like, how is that any different? There's literally no difference. And I know this don't got nothing to do with me, but I'm just, like, offended on his behalf that somebody who has like a microscopic fan base on YouTube, like Mero, I'll give him credit. He gets like a lot of likes on Twitter for whatever reason, but like as evidenced by the numbers on HOT97, no impact, none. Like, I don't know about the Dwayne Reed clerks that are driving to work that might be listening to HOT97, but like, let's be real. YouTube is basically all that matters in short form, right? Like, that's it. And like Mero put out a video about me maybe like a year or two ago. He tried being a YouTuber for a little bit, I saw, and just like gave up. And like, I didn't even consider watching it. So let's be real, man. We're all playing the same game. We're all just trying to get viewership. And like, you don't get to do the moral high ground on the radio.
All right. This is so. Are we not on King Akademiks? Am I tripping? Hold on. Give me a second, y'all. Are we missing part of the family? We're missing part of the family. Wait, what's going on? Give me 1 second, chat. We're not live on King Akademiks. Here we go. I don't know what happened. Give me 1 second. I have no idea. YouTube shut it down? Okay, just give me 1 second. So, chat, you guys tell me what to do. Let him starve. Let him starve, or should I drop, a light 60 on him? Again, if you ask me, and I don't want to sway the population here, I felt the ether that I gave, they didn't debunk. And for me, I'm waiting until homie just gets fired. I'm being honest with you, right? I'm not trying to entertain and try to boost his artificial numbers up because he's now going back and forth with me. But everything I've said is facts. So, hold on, let me just make sure. Is this... Okay. Think we should be good. And by the way, I love you guys in terms of strategy. You know how many people hit me today and be like, yo, Ak, bro, you're giving these guys, you're giving them room to breathe. These guys were getting like 300 views on a video. Dog, you start going back and forth with them, they get 10,000 today. We know you're about to get drunk on stream again, go at them again. They get to respond. Now it's a back and forth thing. They get to run to their employers. Yo, Ak responded. And it's, well, not Ak responded, but hey, our numbers is up, right? Somebody said, what Cole say? We gonna get to Cole. Okay. Chat, y'all know dropping 80 in crash outs is my thing. But I just want to be I gotta be strategic with this. By the way, keep in mind, chat, when I was coming up, these guys acted like I didn't exist until the entire internet, which became people who were interested in me, a lot of chat niggas and people who probably didn't like me, shouted my name so much they couldn't ignore me. I remember driving my car, and I remember the first time even the Breakfast Club was like, hey, and, media personality Akademiks, and I was like, oh, wow, they acknowledge me now. So, we worked to get to this point. My thing is we don't want to give it away. Anyway, I don't want to make this a big thing. I'm wondering, what should we do, chat? Don't respond. Let him starve. You know what? For now, I'm not going to give the ammo that they need to survive. But also, I'm not ducking smoke. Everybody knows that. And also, I'm not scared of, engaging. I am going to pull up the video. I don't really have much to say about it. I just want to point out a few things. So HOT97, I want to be very clear. And I'm sorry. I can't help but being me. Trust me. I was going to just ignore this, but I'm like, that's fake as fuck. Right? Like, Ak, you're petty. Like, yeah, that's fake. The strategic way is to act like it never happened, but I just can't be fake, right? I'm just not a fake guy, right? It's why they have went from where they used to be. Well, not these guys, but like traditional media. And then, because people see through it. Like I see y'all in the chat. Y'all be like, no, y'all kind of split, but whatever. Let me just say this. And I want to just quickly break down issue or whatever issues you might think I had with this guy. So HOT97 fired Ebro and Rosendweeb. They were bad at their jobs. They're not entertaining. They thought they were gatekeepers. The culture moved past that. You have to serve the people. When the people say they want this type of music, these type of artists, you can't say no, I tell you what you listen to. That's been the motto of radio for a long time. Now, that's Ebro and Rosendweeb. So let's get them out of the paint. Also, by the way, I seen them. I'll throw them a bone again. I was being nice when I said I was down to debate with Ebro. I'm glad you guys, they're like, no, we're trying to have an intervention with you. Okay, cool. We'll just cut off your pipeline as well. Good luck. But I just want to quickly explain my issue with this guy. Like most people, I never had an issue. So there's this thing that people think that I'm a trouble starter. No, I'm the guy that if you used to, like when I was a freshman and you were a senior and you think that you could have just bullied me, when I now become a college graduate and I'm on the same level because we both men, I'm popping it at you. I ain't forget shit. That's a fact. So anyway, this dude, I don't know him. I seen him one time. Charlemagne was doing something where they were going to bring back MTV, MTV Jams. If you guys don't know that show, it's like an old show. Charlemagne at that point, I don't know what happened with his status there at Viacom, or was it Viacom? I think it was Viacom. But MTV or VH1 was pretty much kind of looking at Charlemagne like he's the guy. Like, yo, whatever Charlemagne says, he's the guy. He controls culture. That's how he got out. What's the name of the show? The one that the stupid nigga Taxstone was on. What's the name of that show? You know that show? Anyway, does anyone know that show? Please just tell me the show. I forgot. Anybody knows the show? Somebody said Revenge of the Nerds. No, it's that there is no revenge for me to have. The revenge is my success. I'm already successful. It's like some of the stuff you're going to hear this guy say is so laughable. Like it doesn't even deserve a response, and I won't respond to it. But I want to give you guys context because there are always new listeners, and I've always spent my time being logical, and I've converted other people's audiences to my audience because they're like, hey, listen, you know what? I've actually sat and watched Act for more than 10 minutes, and he's kind of being logical, and it kind of makes some sense. So I want to be very accurate and honest with y'all, right? It's not guy code. It was it State of the Culture? That was Joe's show on Common Sense. So before he did on Common Sense, he was trying to get MTV Jams back. And I was one of the people, and always shout out to Charlemagne. He brought me up there, and I was sitting in this meeting with like the MTV people, and Charlemagne was there, and that was cool. But at one of those early, I think in one of those meetings before, I remember I was in a conference room. Charlemagne was in there too, and I seen this guy walk in the background. Never talked to him, no conversation. I had nothing ill to say about him. He never did nothing ill to me. Again, you'll notice a pattern, and I want people to notice a pattern, that I am not a hater. I have never just randomly picked up in beef with someone based on me not having, based on them not starting it first, or them not actually, for whatever reason, thinking they could position themselves against me to either lower what I got going on or to heighten them. So I saw the guy. I've never said nothing to him, but I had no ill feelings towards him at the time. I don't think he's ever spoke about me at that time. I don't know what year this was. It probably maybe was around like 2015 or something. So, okay, so that happens. These guys, and I want to properly describe them. What these guys are, they're Key and Peele for hip hop. It's funny that they try to especially this guy's like culture is like, kind of like you guys were kind of like known as like the cornball brothers, like in a way. Like niggas didn't really. It felt like you know how Key and Peele is to Dave Chappelle. They were that to like the Breakfast Club, if that makes sense. Like the Breakfast Club when Charlamagne is going crazy, that's Dave Chappelle. These niggas were like Key and Peele. You know, Key and Peele was like jokes about black people and stereotypical because you're trying to appeal to a white crowd. So yes, you know, maybe some people within your community identify with it, but your whole essence is you're the guys who look like the people of the culture, but you're telling jokes that people not of the culture could laugh from or laugh at. I hope that made sense. So, they signed a deal with, I think it was HBO. And this was a time where podcasts were starting to get deals. And they signed these guys' podcast to a deal because people felt like they could give, you know, if you know, because they did have an audience. Like they had little sayings though. The brand is strong, all this stuff. And the people at HBO, they gave these guys a deal. They said, well, just do your show here and whatever. Now, I'm going to point out some fatal mistakes they made. Okay? And I hope y'all don't call this me dropping 60 on them. This is just me speaking facts. Because really, I really got no response, but you're probably going to say this is a response. Their podcast audience started to evaporate. These guys were on HBO. They chose a small check. And I'm trying to tell you it's a tiny check that they chose. And because not all their audience had HBO, people start not watching as much. Okay? Me and Vic Mensa weren't good. They tried to capitalize on things that they claim the culture would be in support of. And one of those things would be the fuck Akademiks campaign. Oh, we all hate Akademiks, this and third. They jumped on there and they start making all type of, you know, they were good with like influence in the Twitter nigga community. Black Twitter, they were good at that. So they say something about me. I say something about them. They galvanize in the Twitter streets, and everybody on Twitter is like, yeah. Because didn't I always tell you guys, there's a lot more people that hate me than like me. There's a lot of people who like me, but there's a lot more people that hate me. And then when people start mentioning the fact that they hate me too, they get a crowd of people that are only in support of the hate, but don't support them. So that all happened, but you know, TV viewership has been down. People not really rocking with that. These guys eventually end up killing their brand. It was the most ironic thing ever. So their whole thing was the brand is strong, and by the time they were unceremoniously pretty much discarded and dismissed from HBO, their brand was pretty much dead. No one really cared about what they said. Their audience had fractured and moved on to other things. Some grew up and some went to other content creators. Why do I say that? So from back then, I was like, all right, these guys are suckers because they try to kick my back in just so that he could get some pennies from HBO, but whatever. What happened next was that this guy right here, and I'm clicking on him. You see the guy right here? You can't see the mouse right here? He is, and I hate to say this, but he's the key in the Key and Peele saga. You guys ever watch Key and Peele? I'll tell you what that is. So Key and Peele are like these guys. I keep saying that they're good with comedy, but they appeal, or at least when they did their show together, they were appealing to stereotypes and extremities that white people would find funny. To a certain extent, but a small certain extent, Chris Rock did the same. When Chris Rock did a lot of comedy sketches or comedy stand-ups, he would do, hey, you know, he would be like, he would have some jokes and it was straight about black and white, and it would just make, he would have a diverse audience, but the white people would laugh at certain stuff that they felt uncomfortable with, but he made it feel comfortable. They just did race jokes, right? And the point was to make white people feel comfortable at laughing at black shit. So, their show ends. Their audience has been discarded. It's abysmal at this point. This guy, he's like Key in that dynamic. What does that mean? Or not Key. Yeah. Yeah, Key. So Key was like the mascot. He's like the guy who he'll play any stereotypical role to make the white guy laugh, you know? But Key was but Peele, Jordan Peele, he was the brains. So he would be able to write these sketches out, you know, even though I think he was doing kind of the same thing. He knew the audience that they were appealing to. So he'd write out these sketches. He would write stuff to make sure that they were getting, you know, they were trying to be, hey, if you like The Office, but you want to laugh about it with black people and see stereotypical, like they had a really classic comedy one where Barack Obama is dapping up all of the people, or he's doing handshakes with all of the people in Congress. And when he gets to the black people, he's like, my nigga, he got special handshakes. And that's something that white people laugh at a lot. Like, oh shit, yeah, black people do that. They always have these crazy handshakes. That's what Jordan Peele is good at. Why do I say that? Jordan Peele is a talent. Anybody could be the mascot. No disrespect to Key, but that's what it is. Okay? Jordan Peele has went on to make multiple movies. He's now shifted. He's almost kind of making movies that's showing about the black plight. And he's now appealing more to the woke version of what Tyler Perry does. And he's kind of abandoned appealing to white people, even though he still puts out certain stuff that maybe white people could get into. But he was the talent. Everything I'm saying here is facts. So, what happens? Jordan Peele goes to do movies. We never hear about Key again. We don't know what he's doing. He's like Carlton from Fresh Prince. Now, no diss to Carlton, but we always look at him, you're Carlton. That's why he can't really go far. So what happens with these two dudes? The guy who is the Jordan Peele of the group is some ugly black nigga with a beard. Okay? A little sus, but whatever. You know, he seems to be the brains of the operation. This guy, who's the mascot, turns on him. And after turning on him, their brand implodes. So you get the guy who actually has the brains, he goes that way. And the guy who's the mascot, he goes this way. Now, the guy with the mascot has not had any good luck in finding anything in entertainment since then. Remember, I haven't gone back and forth with these guys for damn near almost a decade. Why? They haven't been on the scene. They have self-imploded. They have cheddar bobbed themselves. So, this guy, right? What he ends up doing, Ebro and them get fired. And I guess they wanted somebody who felt like they were New York to replace him. Obviously, they're not paying what people would normally pay for radio personalities anymore. They hired this guy. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I love this hire. I love this hire because I knew that this hire was going to end morning radio. End it. Remember, I just summed up their whole career. Their whole career was never talking to black people on black people platforms. They were always the black dudes, the corny black niggas that could kind of make white people understand black culture. That's their thing. Their thing is not Hot 97. Their thing is kind of like Comedy Central, where people could just laugh at the shuck and jive jokes. So when I seen him get hired, I said, wow, I said E-Bum and Rosendewey were bad, but he's going to be a shit show. So I watched quietly, and I have my little notepad. It's probably over there. Every day they started publishing a lot of things, and I would just take my notes. They did 300 views today. Now, remember, some people might be like, well, they're on radio. I keep telling you, the radio view ratings at this point is not personality driven. If you listen to Hot 97, you listen to it. If you don't, you don't. What is driven by personality is streams. It's the reason why, Charlemagne is still a galvanizing figure in the culture. He helped, because he's at the Breakfast Club, he helped get that Netflix deal completed. I hope you're following along. So I made my comments about him, and my comments were simply this. Hot 97 is trying to find themselves. But in trying to find themselves, they're still ignoring the actual problem that New York City has. You're either going to really embrace the youth and the new generation, or you're not going to do it at all. Okay? Now, this guy might not be a gatekeeper. He might not be a gatekeeper, but he's an antiquated old fuck in terms of he thinks that when he thinks about New York, he's thinking about somebody like, hey, yo, done. Like, he thinks like we're still in the 90s. And because his numbers are abysmal, I made the prediction that I'll stand by, that after his guaranteed period at that company, he will be let go like the rest of them. By the way, I know some of y'all might be like, well, maybe you want to be on that. No. If this guy had a successful streaming career, YouTube career, or anything that he was self-employed, he wouldn't be at HOT97. There isn't a dollar amount that well, there is, but it's in the tens of millions for me to leave my house every day to go to New York City and sit up there with a HOT97 logo behind me and me having a talk. So I say that to say, not necessarily shit on him, but to actually give you the reality. So I said what I said, and I just want to point out their channel. They dropped something an hour ago, 77 views, 264, 500, 318, okay? You'll notice in the last month, their highest viewed videos is a video where they said, Mero destroys Akademiks. And this is why I was conflicted. Because do I go back and forth with them or do I cut the water off? You got to starve these motherfuckers. Now, I guess it's a response. I don't know if it is. Because I don't really have much to say to what he has to say to me. I actually do, but I got to cut the oxygen. I will let you guys hear, because you guys, you guys care about me. Come on. You guys can hear. They made its own clip. It was a 5-minute segment, and I want you guys to hear this. Now, Mero, I'm going to tell you beforehand why why I'm not officially responding to you. Mero, you suck. You suck by yourself, and you've never been a talent. I'm being honest with you. It felt like you watched a bunch of people go on rants and tried to imitate it. You're trying to do what Flex does effortlessly. Even Ebro does a good walk down better than you. I do it off the liquor 50 shots deep. Charlemagne is a master at it. Joe Budden is a wordsmith. This is what people see. And if this was your best foot forward, there's nothing I could say about you other than just holding up the reflection to let people know how much you suck. Because this felt like somebody trying to put on an act, not somebody being themselves. Let me tell you this. I've had my career in front of many people for over 15 years. You guys knew at my very youngest stage, I had to grow into myself. I wasn't always me. Now I have my unique voice. I am me, and I'm very happy for it. But this is a nigga who's, forget the age, but this is why he's not successful. You listen to this and you tell me if you feel like this guy is a natural. I'll play it. I think playing his voice and his words is the best response I could ever do.
I want something a little bit more dark.
Ether?
Dark.
Yo, turn me
you
up.
got the instrumental. Shook ones or
Can
something?
y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Listen,
Yes, sir.
bro.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
exactly where I was going.
D.
Okay.
All right, man.
Queens, you know what I mean? You want to get a little...
Listen, YouTube, internet, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to say this one time and one time only because, like I said, I'm a father of 4 biological sons and daughters. But there's a lot of sons out there that are not mine. You know what I'm saying?
Not gonna lie, I like this. I don't know what HOT97 said when they hired this guy, but it's like they told him, yo, you gotta bring the feeling back, restore it. This guy comes on, he puts on Mob Deep Shook Ones in the background. Okay, all right.
And I don't claim you. You're not on my taxes, you're not a dependent, bro, but you depend on me to survive. Because if you don't say my name out your stupid fat mouth,
You told me?
you got no motion.
He's right. I'm here to admit, chat. If we don't talk about this guy, we have zero motion. He's right.
You don't make nothing. You don't do nothing. You don't add nothing. You are net negative to hip-hop culture. You are net negative to society, gang. You know what's the saddest thing in the world?
Brother, I'm going to give you some advice. Ditch your wrestler voice. I see what you're trying to do. Ditch your wrestler voice. What you gonna do, brother? It's okay to speak regularly. This is why people don't like y'all niggas. You don't need to have like a, it's okay. You can get loud. It's fine. I get loud. Chat, this doesn't sound like somebody trying to, listen.
You don't make nothing. You don't do nothing. You don't add nothing. You are net negative to hip-hop culture. You are net negative to society, gang. You know what's the saddest thing in the world? Sitting in your mother's basement, getting drunk off.
Oh, shit. Mama's basement looking good, huh? Yo, chat, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I don't even have responses to these things. I'm going to keep it a being with you, chat. The reason why, if you're saying act, and this is not me dropping, I don't even think this is me dropping. This is like warm-up. Just look at the comments, okay? Just look at the comments, right? And you will basically see he sounds like he's spoofing Ebro. Okay, all right. First time listening is only because they put Akademiks in the title. Okay, should have let Ak alone, not gonna lie. We needed that. Let's go. Okay, why you sound like... whatever, but I'm gonna let it play.
Alcohol that she probably bought at Costco and talking crazy about...
Bro, why are you doing the Pop Smoke deep voice? But let's go.
Of alcohol that she probably bought at Costco and talking
if Costco
crazy
got this cheaper, I like it.
About any and anybody who matters more than you. And I know what burns you up inside, champ. I know what that thorn in your side ever since I made you cry live on stream years ago, and you can't let it go.
Yo, why does this guy look like he's unhinged? Yo, chat. Hey, Mero, let me tell you this. You see what you're trying to do? I'm waiting for the day you get fired. I'm dropping 200 points on you. I'm going to show you what you try to attempt to do. I'm just going to just give you some airtime. I don't know. I'm just not going to give you any content that you can respond back to because we're not going back and forth. But trust me, I'm going to deliver the eulogy. Your eulogy is written out already. Okay? It's bookmarked. It's indexed. It's so great. It's going to be one of my finest performances ever. But for now, I get to just laugh at you thinking that, we're about to engage in something that might help you out, not me.
What burns you up inside, my brother, is this.
Oh, shit. Here we go.
You talk about views. You talk about numbers. You talk about all this other type of stuff, data stuff that you analytical bozo nerds love to just throw up in the air.
Oh, shit.
Whenever people say, that's whack. That's not culturally relevant. Guess what, fam? Everything I've ever done in my entire career has been culturally relevant. You understand what I'm saying?
Talk about it. Let's hear it.
I'm up here HOT97 because you know what we do up here? We move culture. We make culture up here. We make culture.
Damn.
We don't just talk about it, all right, fam? And that's what you do. You a gossiper. You know what I'm saying? You a page 6 in the flesh. You a diabetic page out of the New York Post. You fat hamster. And
hey, I'm not going to lie to you. I always tell you I used to write my earlier YouTube videos. Page 6 in the flesh would hit. If this guy just doesn't have the delivery. This is why I think he sucks. You got to have the delivery for the shit. It's like Charlemagne Donkey today. He got the delivery. Like, you could tell when you're natural. It's like music, right? Like, you could tell when a musician's reading from the paper or he's punching in, and a nigga that just seems like a natural. This guy's doing his best Hulk Hogan. What you gonna do, brother? Like, he's doing a Booker T. Like, relax.
And people want to get on that social media and ask me, yo, but is he lying? Yes, he is.
Chat, that's another reason why I realized I didn't have to respond. People are like, I don't even like this nigga Akademiks, but is he lying though? Again, all I pointed out was that if HOT97 fired his predecessor and he came in, listen, chat, Just think about wherever you work at. You guys are really smart. You may be a data analyst for Microsoft. Let's keep it simple. You are a salesperson for Mazda. Last year, you did, I don't know, you did $800,000 in sales. Your boss pulls you to the side and says, we got to get rid of you. It is what it is. Jobs and situations aren't always guaranteed. But if you found out that the nigga they hired it as your replacement, he's on pace to sell one car for the whole year, wouldn't you say, why the fuck y'all fire me and get him? The point is that this guy's just a downgrade. And again, obviously I don't like him, so I'll tell you my bias, but I don't think people think I'm lying about that. I'm being really honest. If he was a legit upgrade, not only in talent, but also in commercial draw, I'd be like, oh, but he's not, and you know it. So I'll let him keep going.
Because let me tell you one thing, champ. You wish you could be me. That's what burns you up inside. You wish you could be us. Us. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not just speaking for myself. I'm speaking for Mia Bell. I'm speaking for Kaz. I'm speaking for Shiny Culture because you know what?
Yo, here this guy go. He's like, I didn't even know these people were on the show. He's like, yo, you're not only beefing with me, you're beefing with my studio guy Michael over there. Yo, hey, Johnny, you prepare our bagels. He's not better. No, nigga, we don't know we're talking to you, stupid. We're talking to you. He's trying to get everybody in on this. Like, no, it ain't just me. I beef with him. It's all of us.
When I sit down and talk to somebody, it's Denzel Washington. It's Barack Obama.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? It's Matt Damon. You know what I'm saying? It's the names that mean something in the culture of entertainment. When you sit down with a diabetic Tekashi and a guy called Whack 100 and a guy who hangs out in project courtyards yelling at windows. That's who you sit down with, champ. That's not what we do out here, okay? You see a Mia Bell interview, you know it's popping. You know who she sit down with.
Oh, wow.
You see Kaz interviewing somebody, bro, they probably in the Hall of Fame. You see Shiny interviewing somebody, man, that's somebody that's tearing it up worldwide. You understand what I'm saying? You see Kaz One, he's in Tokyo. He's in Tokyo. You in your basement in Long Island, maybe, or maybe in Jersey, because nobody knows where you are. We need drones. Mossad can't find you. You know what I'm saying? And you don't want no smoke with nobody, especially me, fam, because let me tell you something right now. If it wasn't for them strip club bouncers that form a force field around you, you be food.
Oh, shit.
You a 20-piece chicken nugget with sweet and sour sauce. All right? And let me tell you something. The last thing I'll say about you is that you a one-trick pony.
Oh, yeah.
You know how to do one thing, and that's exploit poverty, misery, and violence for your own monetary gain. And not all money is good money, but I'm good, daddy. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my koi fish. Shout out to Crunchy Black. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Derek Jeter. You feel me? Shout out to Aaron Judge and everybody else in the pond.
Man,
okay?
you done lit the chat up today, Mero.
All right? So listen,
Yeah.
y'all can clip this, do this, whatever. Y'all, ain't no way you can manipulate this video, gang. And Jay's giving me to wrap it up, so I'm going to wrap it up on this. My man, if you see me outside, put your head down and look at your shoelaces, all right? Mind the Mero. HOT97, baby. Mornings with Mero. We not playing out here. You heard?
Uh-oh.
Call us up. Let me know how you feel. And up next, switch gears a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I'm a dad. So I could go from giving you that pow pow to giving you that hoo hoo. You know what I mean? And we got some tickets on deck for you, all right? So keep it locked right there, baby. We got Hip Hop Jeopardy coming up next.
Damn, chat. Yo, chat. Again. With all due respect, chat, I think we should move on. I'm just gonna let. I'm gonna let this guy just live in his own denial until we'll give the appropriate response at the appropriate time. Okay, but only advice I would give to him, which I really don't want him to take this advice. You got to be yourself. Like putting on a different voice, doing this. You don't have to be somebody else to do what you got to do. But good riddance, and hopefully works out for you. But really don't have anything else to say to this guy. I'm not gonna lie to you. The reason being is that I've made my point clear. I don't care about you that much. I just believe that you are a downgrade from the last people that were there that were unsuccessful. So the only way to prove me wrong or right is to show me that beyond, and I know how these contracts work, you're probably guaranteed there for a year or maybe two. Let's see in a few years. I think I'll be proven right. Your views are abysmal currently. You could mention all these type of things about pushing culture. Let me tell you this. Culture and all that other stuff you're talking about ain't never get a check cut at HOT97. They're owned by a company that's about X's and O's, dollars and cents. But we'll see if you're right. For today, you're spared. But I got it loaded up. Watch. Chat, let's move on. Chat, you don't know how crazy I want it to go, but you know what? If I'm their only lifeline, I can't help my... You know that Drake lyric that says... What's that Drake lyric? Drake has a lyric that says in Duppy where he says, I'm tired of sitting quiet and helping my enemies eat. And I understand that. Because as selfish and as much as I like the back and forth, I'm not going to give this guy what he wants. But trust me, we'll double back. All right? All right, chat. Last time I got off on stream, I just couldn't take it. Shout out to the desk. I love you, girl. I did a show with her, Everyday Struggle. You guys know that. Are we back offline again on King Akademiks? Are we back offline again?